What's up YouTube, Steven TheSalonGuy here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing haircuts for women who have finer hair. So I've been getting, a lot of requests and people asking me, give me some hair tips for, fine hair people or hair that's not really that thick or, not that dense. When you think about hair, there's a few different things you have to take into consideration. So this mannequin right here, this hair is relatively very, very fine. Let's say it's medium density, okay? So there's a difference between the density and the actual amount of hair you have, like the texture of it. So you can have very, very thick hair, very minimal density or not a lot of it. Or you could have very, very fine hair. It's like super, super thin, but you could have a ton of hair as well. Or the unfortunate situation where you have very fine hair and not a lot of it. And that's where it appears that it's thinning. So the biggest challenge I think women have when it comes to hair types like that is they're not really sure what to do or the proper haircut. And a lot of times, if the hair is on the thinner side, sometimes people just leave the hair longer. And what that does, unfortunately, is it weighs down the hair. And for you ladies who have that situation, you all know that's not really a great thing. The hair has no movement, it's just flat, it lays close to your head, and it makes it actually look even finer or thinner. And you don't want that. So what you need to do is you need to find a haircut that's going to be flattering for your head shape, for the hair density, and to create something that can easily have an illusion that it's going to appear thicker. All right, so let's take this mannequin right here and break down this haircut. Okay, so as I mentioned before, this mannequin hair is relatively fine. This is 100% human hair, all right? It's human hair, but it's on the finer side and it's got, medium density. Not a whole lot, but this style is from a haircut that I did not that long ago. And as far as the length goes, I think this is actually a pretty good length where you can still create some layers so it's not going to appear like it's super short. Because I know a lot of times women who have finer hair, they want to actually maintain some length. But the thing is, again, is you need to have some sort of layers in it to create more volume. So what I've done here is, sometimes, again, to create an illusion, you want to maybe do a side parting and you want to have some sort of angle coming in shorter to longer. All right, so as you can see through here, this is actually angled down going this way. And if we part it right down the middle, all right, what's going to happen is, as you can see through here, even if we bring this hair back and kind of feather it back, we need to have something shorter in here to create some sort of thickness right in through here. And that is going to give an illusion of the hair being much thicker. And again, it's all about balance too. All right, it's all about balance. You need to make sure that when you're getting your hair cut, that, and depending on, again, how thick your hair is and how much hair you have, the best way to do it to be safe is to make sure that the stylist is bringing the hair all forward like this, and I'm going to just cut that dry, and we're creating a really strong foundation, all right, as far as the base. This is the base of the haircut. You want to make sure you've got a solid foundation, or else the hair is going to look very, very fine, very, very stringy, and if they start layering the hair right away, then that's not a good thing. It's like the house, all right? This house with a solid foundation, you need to make sure that that is really, really strong, or else it's not going to support the house. The same thing with haircuts like this, especially on a finer hair, because you need that support. So all I'm doing now is I'm simply just going throughout the head and I'm just cutting one length, all right? I'm establishing my foundation. So when you're getting your haircut, now you can get your haircut dry if you want. There's nothing wrong with that, or you can get it cut wet. Now, my approach to finer hair or hair that's not that dense or on the thinner side is I always cut wet into dry, because the hair texture is going to change from when it's wet compared to as it's dry. And throughout my experience as a stylist, for the 20 plus years I've been cutting and the hundreds and hundreds of people I've worked on and cut, if not more than that, I've learned that the hair responds differently when it's wet as compared to when it's dry. So I like to start with the hair wet for the most part, cut it, and as I'm pretty much finishing up my shape, the hair will dry. But you need to make sure the hair is dry when you're finishing the layers because you're seeing exactly how it's laying. All right? When the hair is thinner, when the hair is finer, it's just not going to lay properly, and you may end up cutting too much hair. So I've noticed that when I'm cutting fabric like this, right, and it's dry, I'm able to see everything, and I'm able to manipulate the hair much better. But when it's wet, it's kind of bunching the hair up, so it's harder for me. So when it comes to the foundation, as you can see, and through here, we've created something really nice. And this isn't really any sort of bangs, but you could create a fringe right in through here or bangs. Again, it all depends on the look. But if you do want to keep that length, you need to have some sort of face frame or some sort of angle right into the front here. You can start at the lip, you can start at the chin. But as you saw, I brought all the hair forward like this, all right? Because that's maintaining a solid foundation in through here. It's going to be a bit heavy, but at the same time, it's not going to look very fine and see-through. That's what you want to do, is create that kind of illusion. Now, when it comes to the actual layers, what you need to keep in mind, and I've seen this many, many times, is overlayering it, right? Or removing too much weight. I think the best way to go about layering hair like this is to literally just follow the head shape and to pull everything straight out from the head. You don't want to do any crazy over direction. You don't want to do any sort of techniques to where you're like really over directing this way and you're changing up the the foundation of the hair, because you could actually remove too much weight. You could actually remove way too much weight, and what's going to happen is it's actually going to make the hair look thinner, and you definitely don't want to do that. All right? You want to make sure that you're keeping everything very balanced and that you're going to actually create the hair to be thicker. So it's normal, and I've done this before, where you cut the hair to actually make it look thicker. Right? And that's my goal when I'm cutting hair textures like this. So you want to make sure that it's blended well, it's balanced, it's not overly layered, there's no crazy techniques, you want to keep things very, very simple. And again, folks, this is from my experience. So what I'm doing now is literally just following the head shape, and as you notice, it is dry, but you want to cut this, have this cut where the hair grows out from the head, all right? Because that's going to maintain the best style for your hair. And then when it comes to the top, all right, what I'm doing is I'm just connecting these layers right in through here. Creating a connection is very, very important too, because if the haircut is unbalanced, and you may notice this, if it's unbalanced, it's not going to work seamlessly together. This may fall flat. This may be, having more volume in through here. You got to make sure everything is working together. And typically, you'll be able to tell an experienced stylist with fine hair just by what they're saying. I mean, if they're telling you, kind of like what I do with my haircuts is, if I'm cutting someone's hair for the first time, I'll actually explain to them what I'm doing. So as we get into the top here, remember that solid foundation that we created before is already there. We don't have to worry about that. And we're actually not even going to cut anything. All right? All we're doing is removing any excess or longer layers into here, make sure it's all balanced, which will make the hair appear thicker. All right? As you can see through here now, it's got a great flow to it. Now from the corners, all right, the corners, again, everything is important, not just the top, the sides, the corner. Everything in this haircut is very, very important. And what I'm doing now is I'm bringing everything straight out from the head, and we're just cutting off the longer pieces to match up with the guideline, and here we go. So again, we're going to let that base drop out. We're not going to cut that because that is the actual length. We're just cutting what's on top of that. All right, so technically when we're layering, we are removing weight, but in this situation, we're actually creating some thickness. All right, we're actually building some weight, not by graduating it, but by just connecting everything. And just look at what's happening in through here. All right, I just ran my fingers through it this way, and look at all that body in through here. And that's literally with no product. That's just using my hands from the haircut. So as you can see, that's the power of a good haircut. It's really going to work for you, all right, not against you. So let's do the same thing on the other side and through here. And yes, this mannequin had extremely fine hair. So when it comes to different styles, you could do a shorter pixie haircut, all right, to make it look a little bit thicker. Maybe when you're styling it, use like a powder. I've got a powder called talc, which is really, really great for short hair, for adding volume, making the hair appear thicker. It's a great, great, great product. And you could do, a bob, maybe, you could do a fringe. You could do a lot of things to make sure that the hair appears thicker. But unfortunately, the longer it is sometimes, the more it's just going to weigh down the hair. All right? So if somebody decides to start doing all sorts of crazy techniques, like takes out a thinning shear or something where you're like, if they start saying we're going to remove some weight, just be very, very careful. Or if they start taking out a razor, again, it's really, you have to be very careful. The only thing I would do, right, if somebody wants a bit more volume and texture throughout this haircut on finer hair, I'm going to rake the hair all the way back like this with my hands. And what I'll do is I'll actually go in and point cut right into this area. All right, and what that's doing is it's just creating a bit more texture. It's creating some shorter pieces that's going to support the rest of the haircut. All right, and that is probably the only thing I'd ever do when it comes to cutting finer hair like this. All right, because again, you don't want to start thinning out the hair too much. It's just going to be a disaster. All right, so let me put these scissors down. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. And for those of you who are curious, this is my shirt right here. See the resemblance? That's me. And hustle. So I'm all about the hustle. I'm all about the work ethic. And let's break down, once again, this haircut here so you guys can see. All right, here we go. So let's bring this back and rake your hands through it. And look at all this, look at all that volume. Look how much thicker the hair is now. Again, mannequin hair has a tendency to just flop straight down into the face. So don't take that into consideration too much. But what I'm trying to show you guys is that, I mean, look at that. Look at all that fullness in through here. The fullness, it's got volume, it's got body, it's still long, it's sexy, it's really easy to work with. Let's turn the head this way so you can see. And the good thing is that there's still some length, and it does not look like the hair is, even though we cut more, it does not look like we've lost a lot of hair. All right, even though we cut more, which most people would be afraid to do on a finer hair texture, we actually created more layers, more softness, and more movement. All right, let's look throughout the back here. And then, the way to style this, again, you can use, like a wand. You could use, I use the Dyson Airwrap. You could just create some body. You could also tease the hair. There's a variety of things you can do to actually style this. All right, and then spray some hairspray in it. Make sure you're using like a good shampoo and conditioner. My volumizing set is really, really good for shampoo and conditioner. And, it's going to really, really help you. Scrunch it when it's dry, spray it down a little bit, and then we're good to go. All right, YouTube, let me know in the comments below if you found this helpful. If you're a client, if you're a stylist, and this all made sense to you, and you're just like, oh my gosh, thank you, Steven. Please let me know. Either way, I hope you found this helpful. It really comes down to the haircut. All right, it comes down to, yes, the length is important. You can have a great haircut for fine hair with short hair, here, medium length, or even like this one, maybe to like the shoulders. But it really depends on how the hair is cut. You can have the stylist really botch it up by over layering it. When I say layers, notice I did layer this one quite a bit. The whole head is layered, but I layered it to follow the head shape. If the stylist is doing something that's removing maximum weight, it's gonna make your hair look even thinner. So you really gotta find someone who knows what they're doing, who really understands hair. And that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for more videos with The Salon Guy.